talk about another boom-bust wide receiver who had a pretty disappointing outing in Week 3.
Ooh,
Only 3.3
brutal.
fantasy points. Sorry to everybody who was listening to our last episode where I was like all in on Hollywood Brown. Had 6 targets, had 6 targets in every single game so far, but only caught 2 of them in this game. And really the Ravens offense as a whole could not get anything going. I tweeted out, hey, can we just turn the Ravens offense off and then back on again? Like, let's just reset this thing because they could not get anything going against the Chiefs at all whatsoever. I'm almost willing to just throw this game out the window, but it was kind of tough to see. Are you willing to plug Hollywood Brown back in?
I'll flex him. I'm willing to flex him. It's just been a really tough start to the year for Marquise Brown. I mean, week 1, he had a solid game. They absolutely blitzed the Cleveland Browns, 5 receptions, 100 yards. Week 2, a disappointing game against Houston, 5 receptions, 42 yards, and then just totally blanked in this one. He's had 6 targets in each game, and that was a concern for us going into the year, Steph. It's like, can Hollywood Brown in this Ravens offense that loves to run the ball, can he see the target volume that we need for him to be a consistent wide receiver too? And so far, 6 targets a game. I know he has incredible big playability, and all those can go to the house, and an incredibly large, yards per catch guy. But it's just been really disappointing to see, and it's a little bit concerning. So I think you roll him out there. You look at the schedule coming up at Washington this week. Then they got Cincinnati, at Philly. Even's not bad. So these next 3 games, I think you keep rolling out Hollywood Brown. He's one of those boom bust guys. We would love to see the floor be a little bit higher, but it's just not there right now. I think this game against Kansas City was a bit of an anomaly. Kansas City came out and punched Baltimore in the mouth, and the Ravens were just off in this one. So I don't expect the offense to struggle that much each week. But, Steph, one interesting thing about Hollywood Brown, I was kind of digging into the numbers here. Of these Ravens wide receivers, he is 3rd in snaps this year. Both Miles Boykin and Willie Snead have played more snaps than Hollywood Brown. And I get it. Like, they're going to have Boykin and Snead on the field if they're doing these read options and these running plays because they're better blockers. But in these RPOs, or if Lamar Jackson's audibling at the line of scrimmage, it's just disappointing to see Marquise Brown not on the field as often as we'd like. He hasn't eclipsed 80% of snaps in even one game this year. He's actually been below 70% twice. So when he's out there, he's hyper efficient. He's always running routes when he's on the field. He's got that big playability, but it's just concerning. He's not going to give you the volume you need to be a consistent and stable wide receiver too right now.
These next 2 games here, Washington and Cincinnati, are going to tell us a lot. I'm willing to flex him, like you said, in both situations, even as a wide receiver too, if I have a solid running back that I can flex. And it was, to me, like, dude, what was up with that tripping call? It seemed like after that tripping call on Monday night, that just, like, threw the Baltimore offense off completely and they could never rebound. And that was a non-call, pretty much.
Laying on the ground, rolling over, it's tough. But, Steph, I'm holding Hollywood Brown right now. I'm not selling him low. I don't think I'm buying low because I'm not quite sold he's going to bounce back. But if you've got him on your roster, you've got to hold, hope for a big game here in the next 2 weeks. And from there, we'll see. Maybe we'll see enough to where he's someone you want to keep starting moving forward, or maybe a sell high window will open itself up so you can get out of the Hollywood Brown business and into someone else that's a little bit more consistent.
Let me ask you this. Recent trade that just went down in one of my leagues, someone traded Marquise Brown for Odell Beckham. Of the 2, are we taking Odell?
I'm easily taking Odell. It's closer than it should be, but Odell is a more complete wide receiver, and the targets are going to be similar. I know Odell's been a little bit low volume at this point in his career with Cleveland. That's a run-heavy team. But I think the Browns are going to have better days ahead in terms of pass volume. They dominated Washington. Who else did they play? Cincinnati and Washington the last 2 weeks. They've had pretty run-heavy game scripts. So in games where they're going to need to throw the ball more, I think Odell is going to get more volume.
Like this one against Dallas?
Like this one against Dallas, exactly. So if I had to lock one in, give me Odell all day long.